Hi, welcome back to another daily lore video. Um, yeah, we're just gonna go watch this next video on the list. Obviously, the list of oldest to newest to latest, basically. Next one is this one. This will be, I think, 42, I believe, in the React thingy. But let's go.
My twin brother borrowed $40,000 from our parents' retirement fund to start his business, promising to pay them back with interest. They're now selling their home to cover medical bills. Yesterday, I drove them past his new 5-bedroom house and $90,000 car. Dad just stared silently. Today my brother called, screaming that I'd ruined his relationship with our parents. I said, "No, your lies did that. Family is supposed to be your great."
Okay, that's like some intro of that. Holy shit. My god.
Support system, the people who have your back no matter what. At least that's what I believed until I watched my twin brother systematically drain our parents' future for his own gain. Growing up, Michael and I were inseparable, sharing not just our birthday but nearly every experience throughout childhood. We had the same friends, played the same sports, even had similar grades. The only real difference was our personalities. I was the cautious one, the planner, while Mike was charismatic and impulsive, always chasing the next exciting opportunity. Our parents, hardworking middle-class people who'd saved every penny for decades, raised us to value honesty and family loyalty above all else. Dad was a high school science teacher who tutored students on weekends for extra money. Mom worked as a nurse, often picking up night shifts for the differential pay. They weren't wealthy by any means, but they were responsible with their money, putting aside a little each month toward their retirement and our college funds. Both Mike and I graduated with business degrees. I took a conventional path, working my way up in healthcare administration, steady, secure, with good benefits.
I mean, talk about being twins. Like, holy shit. I wouldn't say I think normally twins don't really do like everything like that. I mean, yes, they will do everything together, but not like this. They won't not get the same degree. They, I assume they get similar grades, but not always. And obviously, I would also assume like he's like this said, one's outspoken, the other one's more reserved or cautious, whatever you call it.
Mike had bigger dreams. He'd always talked about being an entrepreneur, about making it big with one of his many ideas. After a few years working corporate jobs he hated, he decided to take the plunge and start his own tech consulting firm. The initial investment needed was substantial. His business plan required about $75,000 for equipment, office space, licenses, marketing, and operating costs.
I don't know why you want to go into a business right away. That just does not seem like a good idea. Like seriously, it's not a good. It's too much money to start a business, and you don't have the capital to begin with. I would say if you want to borrow, at least get half of the capital ready, and then borrow the rest. Like my God. But what he does is not really conventional, of course.
Until revenue started flowing. He'd saved some, but nowhere near enough. Traditional lenders weren't enthusiastic about financing a first-time entrepreneur with no proven track record. That's when he turned to our parents.
That's true. That's true. That's so true. The banks don't want to issue that big of a loan to a person that might not pay them back. There's no track record for them. It's a business loan, and business loans are completely different than personal loans.
I'll never forget the family dinner where he laid out his business plan, eyes shining with excitement as he described the potential returns. "It's a sure thing," he insisted.
Nothing, nothing is a sure thing. Hardly anything in business is a sure thing. That's just wishful thinking, honestly.
The market is wide open, and I already have potential clients lined up. I just need capital to get started, and within 2 years, I'll pay back everything with interest. Dad looked skeptical but intrigued. Mom seemed worried. I was alarmed. How much are you asking for? I questioned, already knowing our parents didn't have significant liquid assets to invest. 40,000, Mike said confidently. And it's not asking, it's borrowing. With 6% interest, better than any bank would give them. The figure hung heavy in the air. That wasn't spare change.
6% interest. I don't think you have, like what? 6%, I don't know how much that is. I'm not sure.
For our parents. That was a substantial portion of their retirement savings, money they'd meticulously accumulated over decades of careful living. We'd have to pull from the retirement account, Dad said slowly. There would be penalties. Which I'll cover, Mike promised. Every penny will come back to you.
No, like, let us just be for real. I mean, unless you're like, get lucky as a first time business or a first time entrepreneur or business owner, then obviously, most likely, you would never see that money ever again. You have to get really lucky with your market, with your people, with your execution, with the employees you hire. You have to get lucky on all those fronts. And then obviously, remember, for in a businesses in the first, I think, year or so, usually business operates in the red anyway. So yeah, so no, I don't think, this is definitely, logically, this won't work out, but, we know that.
What's more, this is an investment in family. Wouldn't you rather see your money help build something meaningful than sitting in some Wall Street fund? I tried to intervene, suggesting smaller amounts, alternative funding sources, or a more gradual business expansion. Mike dismissed my concerns as negativity. You've always played it safe, Alex. That's fine for you, but some of us want to build something significant. In the end, despite my objections, our parents agreed. They withdrew $40,000 from their retirement fund.
That's a lot of money too, and the penalty of drawing $40,000 at such a young age as well. Because remember, you can't withdraw that certain amount before you're like 59 and a half. Eesh.
Incurring penalties that reduced the amount even before it reached Mike's hands. They set up a simple contract. Mike would begin repayment within 18 months, with full repayment plus interest within 3 years. The first 6 months were promising.
Okay. So it's an actual contract.
Mike's business seemed to be taking off. He secured several clients, hired 2 employees, and moved from his home office to a real commercial space. He sent our parents regular updates with photos of his growing operation, though notably, no repayments yet. Reinvesting in growth, he explained. The bigger we get, the faster I can pay you back later. A year passed. Then 18 months. The repayment date outlined in their agreement came and went with no money transferred. Instead, there were elaborate explanations about cash flow timing, reinvestment necessities, and expanding too fast to divert funds.
Yeah, right. There's no, he completely flopped out within the first 6 months, probably. Within the first year, the business probably foreclosed.
Just 6 more months, became Mike's mantra. We're about to land a massive client that will change everything. Meanwhile, I noticed worrying changes in my brother's lifestyle. He moved from his modest apartment to a luxury condo. His old reliable sedan was replaced by a BMW. His social media showed expensive restaurants, weekend getaways, designer clothes,
okay.
all while our...
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he's just trying to live up the life, my God, that he doesn't have.
Parents waited for their retirement money. When I confronted him privately, Mike became defensive. The business is doing great, but that doesn't mean I can pull capital out right now. Besides, I need to look successful to attract high-end clients. It's part of the business strategy. 2 years after the loan, disaster struck our family. Mom was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. The treatment plan was aggressive and expensive. Though they had health insurance, the deductibles, co-pays, and uncovered treatments quickly mounted into tens of thousands of dollars. Dad retired early to care for her, further reducing their income. This seemed like the obvious moment for Mike to step.
Yeah, it sounds like an obvious. Sorry, I had to move. It sounds like an obvious thing to do, but most likely he probably won't, pay back at all. But, whatever.
Up. His business was visibly successful now, with a downtown office and a team of employees. Surely he could begin repaying the loan that our parents now desperately needed. Instead, he became increasingly scarce, visiting Mom in the hospital only occasionally, always with an excuse about business demands. When Dad gently mentioned the loan, Mike
I have a feeling this is all fake. I don't know. I have a feeling this is fake. I think I don't know about the business aspect. We'll probably learn about it later. But I feel like business went bankrupt or failed. And then this is just him pretending. Because obviously he didn't have the money to pay his parents back, of course. So he wants to pretend to look wealthy and give excuses. I'm not 100% sure. This is just a theory. We will probably learn about it.
acted offended that they would bring up money during such a difficult time. "I can't believe you're thinking about that right now," he said. "I'm under enormous pressure keeping the business afloat. As soon as things stabilize, I'll help out." 3 months into Mom's treatment, I stopped by their house to drop off groceries and found Dad at the kitchen table, surrounded by papers, his face drawn with worry. "What's going on?" I asked, though I already suspected. "We're going to have to sell the house," he said quietly. "The medical bills. And our retirement account is depleted. We just don't have enough to cover everything." The home they'd lived in for 30 years. The place where we grew up. The garden Mom had tenderly cultivated for decades. All of it would have to go because my brother couldn't honor his commitment. That evening, I drove past Mike's office on my way home and noticed a new sign. He'd rebranded the company with a sleeker logo and expanded to the adjacent office space. His Instagram showed photos of a team retreat at a luxury resort just 2 weeks earlier.
So, his business is actually doing well then. I don't understand. If his business is actually doing that good, I don't get why you don't pay your parents back. I mean, it must not be, also, it's parents, they're not gonna go after their kid for the money. If it actually isn't a contract, a real contract, then obviously they're not gonna go after their kid for the money. That would be, I mean, that would burn the bridge. Even though this is technically making them see their son in a different light.
Something in me snapped. Years of watching my brother's manipulation, of seeing my parents sacrifice while he flourished, culminated in a decision. The following Sunday, I picked up my parents for what I told them would be a scenic drive. Mom was feeling stronger after her latest treatment, and Dad needed a break from caregiving. I drove them through an upscale neighborhood on the outskirts of the city, slowing as we passed an impressive colonial-style house with a 3-car garage. A brand new SUV sat in the circular driveway, alongside Mike's latest acquisition, a luxury sports car worth at least $90,000. "Isn't that Michael's car?" Mom asked, confusion evident in her voice. "Yes," I said simply. "This is his new house. He moved in last month." The silence in the car was deafening. Dad stared at the property, his expression a complex mixture of hurt, anger, and profound disappointment. Mom turned away, looking out the opposite window as tears slid down her face. "He told us the business was struggling," Dad finally said. "That he couldn't begin repayments because he was barely staying afloat." I didn't elaborate. I didn't need to. The evidence was right before their eyes: the house, the cars, the obvious prosperity while they
No, he's just not gonna pay back his parents. I really don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what this person's thinking. Like, come on. That's your parents. They did everything for you, including giving you a $40,000 loan. They didn't have to do. They did not have to do this. That's something they didn't have to do at all.
prepared to sell their home to cover medical expenses. We didn't discuss it further that day. I took them home, helped Dad with dinner preparations, and made sure Mom took her evening medications. The house felt heavier somehow, Waited with unspoken betrayal. The next morning, my phone exploded with notifications. Text messages, missed calls, and voicemails from Mike, each more furious than the last. In his final message, he was nearly incoherent with rage. How dare you take them by my house? You've always been jealous of my success. They called me
Jealous of your success? My dude, the only reason you have success is because you betrayed your parents.
demanding money, saying I've been lying to them. You've completely ruined my relationship with our parents. They're threatening legal action. I waited until evening to call him back.
That's good. They finally understand that you're never gonna pay them back. Like you want your parents to die or something. Like what?
When I was certain I could maintain my composure. No, Mike, I said when he immediately launched into accusations. Your lies did that. Your choices. They're selling their home while you're living in a mansion. Mom is fighting cancer, and you couldn't spare a cent of the money you promised to return years ago. Business finances are complicated, he sputtered. I couldn't just withdraw company funds. Stop, I interrupted. The cars aren't company assets. The luxury vacations weren't business expenses. You chose your lifestyle over your integrity and our parents' security. His voice dropped, suddenly calculating. What do you want, Alex? Money? Is that it? You want me to pay you to keep quiet? I want you to honor your commitment to the people who raised us. I want you to look mom in the eye while she's fighting for her life and explain why your new car was more important than her treatment. I want you to help dad save their home. There was a long pause. It's not that simple, he finally said. Actually, it is that simple. Family is supposed to mean something. At least that's what they taught us. 2 weeks later, my parents received a bank transfer for $65,000, the original loan amount plus interest and penalties. It came with a terse email from Mike about settling accounts. No apology, no acknowledgement of the strain he'd caused, no explanation for his deception. The money saved their house but not their relationship with their son. Some betrayals cut too deep for...
I mean, yeah, it's like you you finally paid back your parents. Like years, like a year or two after the fact. It was supposed to be paid back. And you kept bringing excuses that you kept paying back later. We have business going. We are or something about acquisition, or I have money tied up in the business. We blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Like seriously, like he said, the house is not a business expense. A car is not a business expense. The vacations are not business expenses. Like seriously, what?
Financial restitution. My brother secured his business success and lost something far more valuable in the process, the trust and respect of the people who would have given him anything, who in fact did give him everything they could. As for me, I've learned that family isn't just about shared DNA or childhood memories. It's about choices made day after day, about showing up when it matters, about keeping your word even when it's difficult. Mike may be my twin, but in the ways that truly matter, we couldn't be more different.
That is true. You're far from different. My God. My dude chose his own personal life over his family. I mean, in some scenarios, it is good to do that, but in this scenario, yeah, no, this is not okay at all to do. Um, like seriously, this is what not to do. His business was His business was a success. I thought it would fail. Honestly, I thought it would go a different direction. But his business was a success. But success always comes at a cost of something. Usually. I wouldn't say always. But usually success always comes at a cost of something. It's either your relationship with somebody, which in case this is it, a relationship, any relationship, family, remote romance, relationship, friendship, pretty much any relationship. What else? Pretty much that's it, actually. There's probably other ones, but pretty much that's it. Any relationship, honestly, comes at a cost of success. And this is a prime example. of success equals bad relationship with your family. Not always, but in this scenario, yes. Just it's just very bad. I really don't understand this. His thought process of why he never paid his family back. I guess he was that type of person. You never know what type of person somebody is when they have a lot of money. Because obviously, nobody, you never know what you're going to do with when you have millions of thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars in your bank account you could spend. You might change on an actual level. You might actually change. Your personality would probably change most likely. So his personality definitely changed. Okay. My twin brother borrowed $40,000 from our parents' retirement fund to start his business, and that was Dead Spies Reddit story react. Hope you have a nice day, a good evening, a nice night, and a good morning. Okay.